I don't want other people's purpose, and I don't want other people's pain. So I'm going to stay in my lane. Oh, I like that.
Hey, I
It
like
rhymes. So I'm
that.
not
We're
down
gonna
with
remember that.
OPP. Look, Tammy, I'm not down with
I'm
OPP.
not down with
I'm
OPP.
down with you know me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you knowing you. Hey, and you
Exactly.
knowing you. So, we tend to judge that which we don't understand. Much of what we continue to go through, even as it relates to race, marriage, disconnect in professional and personal relationships, is more about communication than we think. I value the time, but I value the message and the gift that God has put on my heart and the work that He has put me here to do. And I would not be here doing it had it not been for my own challenges, my own
Makes
dysfunction,
sense.
bondage, my own pain. I would not be here doing this. So I'm talking to somebody saying, don't let your pain go in vain. I mean, don't think that because you went through something or you're going through something, your story is God's glory.
Right.
God's story is your story. So, and it ain't always pretty, you guys. And I said it ain't always pretty, but it is real. That's real, right, Tamara?
It's true.
That's real. So let's skip down a little bit. I want to get to the meat of the intensity score. And I've mentioned you guys there's language scores, and I'm going to share this with you. Let me share my screen here, and that may help us move forward just a little bit quicker if I do that. Share screen and easiest to monitor. All right, share screen. All right, so Chrome tab and short form. All right, so you guys should be seeing, and Tamara, are you seeing your short form?
Yes.
Okay, so as we talked earlier, Tamara is responder, influencer, shaper, doer, producer, contemplator, mover. So these are those seven languages. This is their communication, her communication preference, meaning her primary language is responder. But remember, we said responders typically, this is our transparent language, and they typically, their go to is their second language. And for her, it is an influencer. You see here that her language scores are pretty close here. 72.81, that's a high rating. 72.3 or 30 is a high rating as well. Then we have our gaps, and we won't get into that, but basically it's just the distance between each language as the descending order. We have our range and we have our overall intensity. And these scores are identified or defined in the report and so on. So the one that I really wanted to touch on tonight is the overall intensity score. And Tamaria has an 80.55. Now I'm going to flip back over and I'm going to, let's see, take this off. Let me stop sharing here. So Tamaria's overall intensity score is high. And what that means, I want to get down here and just let you see what that means. So your intensity level is high. Your intensity score reveals the strength, energy, and passion you have for communication. The higher your intensity, the higher your drive to communicate, and the more effort you put into it. High intensity often means you will fight for your opinion to be considered and to exercise control, whether directly or indirectly. You will do more to maintain communication and relationships. I'm going to go back to that first one. You will do more to maintain communication and relationships. You may also be more prone to conflict. People with high intensity tend to draw attention. People with low intensity generally do not compete to be heard, although they may have to. Although they may have a lot to say, and I won't even go to that second screen, or they may have valuable contributions to make, and they're sometimes overlooked or ignored. But imagine, as we were talking about, Tamaria being married to a contemplator. Now, look at her overall intensity score. So we could have a responder with a low intensity score, and they're going to be totally opposite. And that's what I meant by the scores make up help make up the person or help them to see how they do life. So I'm going to go back up to this one. Indirectly or directly, as it says here, that she's going to exercise the right to be heard. How is she going to do it, directly or indirectly? And imagine her dealing with a person who acts, a person who thinks. So what is she going to be doing, trying to get their attention? How is she going to show up? How is she going to try to see if they really care? So this is what she learns about herself with this assessment. This is how she turns those non-productive character qualities into productive ones. If she knows I'm dealing with a thinker, I will allow him time to think. If she knows I'm dealing with someone who acts, he's acting, but I know he still cares. This is just his language. He needs to act first. Now, as actors, as thinkers, we need to learn our non productive character qualities as well. So, for those of you who are listening, you find yourselves in conflict with those who you love. Imagine how valuable it would be just to know how,
Mm-hmm.
not if they do life, but how, so that you can be less offended, that you can give them grace, that you can value. We didn't get into the filter, the need, the key character strength, and the driving passion. This assessment gives you these things as well. Think
Right.
about knowing how you perceive or receive ingoing and outgoing communication. How do you receive it? Tamaria's is, do you really care?
Exactly.
The way to get Tamara is show her that you care. So you guys, there's so much. We passed our hour. There's so much more to this that makes Tamara who she is, and all those who have taken the assessment. And I really want to go over one more thing, Tamaria. And did you have anything? And these are the essential qualities to develop, because we talked about the non productive things as
Right.
well. So the assessment gives everyone two essential qualities to develop based on their language. And you brought one of them up.
Mm-hmm.
Professionalize, don't personalize.
Yeah,
You brought
that
one of
was the
those
one
up.
that I remember. Yeah. And I just said, okay, in the back of my mind in the workplace, I'm always thinking about it. Like, okay, let me not take this personal. They probably didn't mean it that way. Let me take a step back. I'm always taking a step back to assess the situation.
Right.
So back when I took this in 2015, I worked with some very opinionated individuals who were okay with saying however they felt, but I noticed they could dish it, but they couldn't take it. But I realized, I said, well, to your point, I can't always be the cost. And so I
Exactly.
just started saying, you know what? If I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to speak up. And I used to say, if I'm uncomfortable, we're all going to be uncomfortable. So I'm going to just speak my mind. Of course, as an influencer, tactfully and with diplomacy, but I am going to speak up.
And um, I'd like to say this too. It's about being whatever language you speak it in a healthy manner, in a healthy
Right,
way. And the more you find, and I'll go back to your words, to Mary, the more you find your own way, the more you find your own way and become comfortable in that finding and the route that God has put you on, the less offended you are. You instantly know when you've turned down the wrong street, a one-way
right,
street. You know that you turned left and that you should have turned right when you find your own way. And sometimes, even if you feel like you've turned the wrong way, um, you get it. Like sometimes you just have to keep going. Sometimes you have the strength to turn around right then and right there. So it's really,
right,
you guys, about, there are two things that we want to leave you guys with, and I'm going to turn it over to Tamari to give out her information again. What do you need and how do you need it?
right,
What do you need and how do you need it? Finding your own way will help you answer those questions. And then, are you healthy enough? or ready to say, this is what I need and this is how I need it, without thinking that that is a selfish act,
Right.
without thinking. And those who love you will meet you there.
So
And those
true.
you love, you will meet them there with your hands out saying, what do you need from me and how do you need it? Because it's not just about them answering those questions for us, but it is about, what do you need from me and how do you need it? And
Right.
then becoming one, which is the merging of their two reports. Becoming one. And if it's not merging two reports, then merge the person that your fight is with the most. That is the internal person. That is the one within. That is the one that God has created versus the one that you think you've become. And it's all
Right.
based on the world, the things, and all the other stuff. That is not enough, you guys, because if it was, we have a lot of so called rich people who are miserable.
So
So all
true.
those things don't answer the question for you. There's something internally that you need, and there's a way that you need it, and those things have to be dealt with. So, Tamaria, I know we've left a lot off here, out. I guess I should say it. Typically takes a couple of hours to really unpack each person, you guys, because this assessment is so. It's a God thing. It is a God thing. It was actually
Right.
written by a couple that had lost their marriage, and this man was so gung ho about getting his family back together.
Mm.
And this is where that came from. He said, I knew she loved me and I loved her. So what would make this marriage fall apart to this degree? And he went to God.
Mm.
And so these seven languages, the seven, you think about the gifts of the spirit, you think about those. For those of you who are listening, I do life coaching, I do seminars based on character based communication. That is your most effective communication. And I just think of character being from the heart, from the heart. So you brought up guard your heart, Tamir. If your heart
Right.
is, if you're not taking care of your heart, out of it flows the issues of life.
Right.
So look at the issues that you're having in your life and the peace that you have or not, or you do not have. So Tamaria, will you tell everybody that may have joined us late how what you do, how they can reach out to you, how they can find your show, how to take the assessment from your site, and anything else you want to share about the assessment, what you got from it, anything before we end.
Okay. I would like to say again, thank you for doing this. And for anyone who is on the fence and debating on whether or not they should take it, I think you definitely should. It's very beneficial. Like, I love how they tell you what your personal motto is, what your color is. And it's ironic because when I look at my assessment, Tammy, I don't know if you noticed, but my podcast, I selected colors ironically that align with my life language, not even realizing it. I looked up what
Oh,
the colors meant. So if you look at my logo for CC America, for anyone who's joining, it stands for Confidence Centers of America. My colors are violet and turquoise. Now, ironically, my first language, the color is violet, the responder. So if you've been seeing many of my podcast advertisements lately, it's bright yellow and purple. Bright yellow is the color for influencer. So subconsciously, I selected the colors, not even realizing it. I selected it based on what I wanted to convey. So for my podcast, the website is ccAmericaPodcast.com. I wanted to help others get mentally fit through stories of faith, inspiration, and transformation. That literally, I'm influencing, I'm using my heart, I'm inspiring people. I was like, this is so funny that this is the path I chose, even with regard to training. So the assessment has been really helpful because it lets me know how I tend to respond, but it also gives me tips on ways that I can be not necessarily a better person, but how I can, what opportunities I have. So to Tammy's point, like not being the cost, not allowing everyone else to dictate how I feel about myself or what I do with my time or what I do with my treasure is really okay. What is comfortable for me? Like, don't try to protect people at all costs. I can still help and protect people, but that's what Jesus died for, as Tammy stated. Like, that's not my role. I am out here thinking I can save the world, and realistically, no one can. So I think the assessment helped put things in perspective for me, where I realized, you know what, there's a lot more to this than the naked eye can see. And if I realize where I tend to come from, I can also realize what I need to work on. And so
Right.
through the conversations with Tammy, and also through reading the assessment multiple times, I've even shared it with my managers in my last two jobs. I was like, here you go. Here's my assessment. You want to learn more about me? Here you go. As Tammy said, the responder is one of the most transparent. Not a surprise, because I want to communicate.
Okay.
So the CC America was created for the purpose of inspiring the lives of others through service, dedication, and faith. As Tammy mentioned, I am an introducer because I really do believe in this assessment, and I believe in what Tammy is doing, because she is literally saving relationships and marriages and helping people understand themselves better. So you can access the link from ccamericallc.com. It's under the mind section, personality profiles. There's a link. I also put it in the chat. And then if you're interested in listening to the CC America podcast, I know that you will be inspired. Tammy has been a guest on the show. I've interviewed a lot of awesome people, both women and men, who have a testimony and who are really inspiring individuals. So again, that website is ccaamericapodcast.com. And then I also have a product line that is all based on inspiration as well. I call it Confident Connotations, because when you think of connotations, it's not necessarily what's said, it's what a word may connotate. And
Mm-hmm.
so the products are meant to spark a conversation. It's meant to give you an opportunity to communicate. Go figure. And I'm in the 80th percentile for wanting to communicate. So it's not ironic that I would create a product line that encourages communication. So everything, as we've talked through this tonight, I realize it's all connected. To other people, they may not understand it, but to Tammy's point earlier in the show, it's not about that necessarily. It's about me walking and being in my lane. It's about me bearing the fruit that God has given me to bear. And literally earlier today, I said I was going to create a post of someone driving down the road and put in "stay in your lane." I'm not trying to be, as Tammy said, OPP. That Iyanla said, I don't want other people's purpose, and I don't want other people's pain. So I'm going to stay in my lane. Oh, I like that.
Hey, I
It
like
rhymes. So I'm not
that. We're
down
gonna
with
remember that.
OPP. Look, Tammy, I'm not down with
I'm
OPP.
not down with
I'm
OPP.
down with you know me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you knowing you. Hey, and you
Exactly.
knowing you. So, we tend to judge that which we don't understand. And those who we don't understand.
Right.
And I'll say that again. We tend to judge that which we do not understand and those that we do not understand, you guys. So all this really is about effective communication, which is communication from your heart. What do
Yes.
you need and how do you need it from others, but also what do they need and how do they need it from you? Much of what we continue to go through, even as it relates to race, marriage, disconnect in professional and personal relationships, is more about communication than we think. And that communication, if we're willing, like Mary talked about the conflict, if we get to a point where we're willing to sit down in the hot seat and get hot with an agreement that we're going to get up and have a peaceful relationship, even if we do not disagree. The only thing that can bring that, I know you got to have, I'll say for me, I got to keep some God in me to stay balanced. I'll say
Right.
this. If I didn't love God and know that He loved me and created me, you guys would not stand a chance with me. And I mean, guys, but people, you would not stand a chance with me because I'm just kind of over it. And the only thing is keeping me leveled and sane is my love for God and who He created me to be, and that gift within me. So much we don't understand people. We don't understand culture. And we don't if when we don't understand that, we don't understand the creator, because now you're saying what he created is not good. Yet you
Right.
tell me that what that he created and all was good. So there's so much we can go. I know we're straying off, but it comes back to not how you are, not if you're smart, but how you're smart. Not if you will respond to life or react to life, but how and why.
Right.
Okay, so
It's so true.
we've given you the information. Thank you guys for listening to Mary. I cannot thank you enough, again, for just trusting me to help you through this phase of life. And I'll say, just as much as you think I help you, you help me as well in so many ways. You've really inspired me just with all of this. I've just tried new things because of things I've seen you do.
Oh,
Um,
thank
and so
you.
really, like really, that I mean, just like, whew. So, but thank you, and you guys listen to her show. She's had some motivating people on there, and you have to keep yourself motivated and surround yourself with the things that you need as you find your way. The things that you need will be on that way. They will be on your journey.
It's so
So
true.
if you feel displaced and misplaced, you might be on somebody else's OPP, right?
Exactly.
Or their way.
Focus on you. So
Yeah,
AKA say replace OPP with me. Focus
exactly.
on me. Like if you
Exactly.
focus on yourself, you don't have time to really. And I noticed that, Tammy, and you told me when I first started the podcast, because I've been telling you since probably 2015 that I was going to do this. That was when I first designed the
Yep.
well, actually I designed my first
The
t-shirt for
logo
Confident Connotations
and logo
2013.
too.
Yeah, I got the
You did.
logo. Like I've had so many iterations of the logo. It's just crazy. And I thought CC America was going to be one brand, and it ended up being different aspects of the same brand, but the message is still the same. It's still inspiration. But I remember you told me that I was going to probably learn from doing this as well. So the
Mm-hmm.
guests that
Yeah.
come on the podcast have inspired me in so many ways. I'm grateful for every single guest that has been on. And Tammy's been on with me a couple of times because I learn, and to Tammy's point, I get inspired, but I notice now that I'm in my own lane,
Mm.
nothing stops me. I was up in the middle of the night. I was inspired. I was doing some stuff that I wanted to do, and it didn't feel like work. It's something that you will keep going. You'll keep thriving if that is your purpose. But if you're trying to focus on someone else's purpose and you're trying to copy and do what they do, if
Right.
your heart's not in it, you will get tired. You'll get burnt out because it's not you. So
Right.
I
And if you're
encourage
purpose
everyone
blocking too,
to
I
be
think,
them.
yeah, right. And if you are not willing to share your gifts, because there's enough room in the gift of you. So this is still about the
Exactly.
life language. Like if you're not okay with sharing, don't, I say this, I say this, I say this. There is a KFC. Wherever you see a KFC, you're going to see a Popeyes. You're going to see a church. You're going to see now Bojangles. You guys, they all sell chicken,
They
and
do.
somehow they are thriving. So you got to learn. I heard this, Tamara, this might have come from you. Um, Vibe with your tribe. Did that come from
I know
something?
I
I
don't,
don't
that
know.
one wasn't me, but I like it.
Somebody, I don't know. I hear so much and listen to so much, you guys, but you and that's just, there's so many people like chicken, but some of them like Popeyes, some of them like
Right.
Bojangles. So if you are a life coach and I can help you, guess what? I'm gonna help you, because there's been some
Exactly.
people that I've said, you know what, I can't help you. And I just can't. But it
That's
doesn't mean
fair.
another coach may not have that itch that they need, that scratch for their itch.
Exactly.
Because there are some people that I just because I just can't, and that's okay. Thank
Right.
God for many different styles of coaching. And so
Exactly.
I need to be able to say I can't, but I know someone that will be a great fit for you and your situation and where you're going and what you're looking for. I may be a bit too to the left for what you need. Um,
Right.
so don't PB purpose block. We're gonna create a lot of things today
I
to
never even
marry.
thought of, I never even thought about it that way, but it's true because I'm like, the Bible says that there's many branches, but I think what hurts my heart is when people feel like they have to do what everyone else is doing, or
Right.
they're not doing anything. And
And it's
I've had this
easy to get caught up
conversation
in
with
that.
people, right?
It's
I'm
easy
like,
though.
it is, but in my mind, I'm like, what you're doing is important too. But because they don't see the success other people are seeing, people devalue themselves. And that bothers me because I'm like, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Like, you do what you're supposed to do, and everything will work out. Like, to your point, Tammy, it'll just flow. The people will come to you. The people that you're supposed to meet will be in your circle. The relationships you're supposed to build, the connections you're supposed to make, they'll all be there. So to Tammy's point, it's a lot of life coaches, but maybe she's not the right one, but maybe you are. But if you're trying to be someone else, you won't be able to be the person that the other person needs because you're not walking in who you are. You're trying to
Hmm.
be someone else. So I encourage everyone. And I think that's the place where I am now, where I'm like, I am Tamaria. Like, I don't
Mm.
have to be like anyone else. On the job, when they said you were too nice, for a period, I was trying to figure out, what
What
does
is
that mean? And how do I change? How do I not be so nice? Maybe if I smile less, maybe if, and I was like, you know what? Bump this. If I have to do all that, then I don't need that job.
Have you ever
I
thought about if
literally,
people ever told you're too mean? Why is it
no,
easier? Have you like so we
because
have
it's
to
easier to
really
tell me that
right.
because I won't
And just
respond in their
imagine that.
mind.
Imagine that. You're too nice. But you have people that are just outright cruel and evil and no one ever says
Disrespectful.
anything. And
But
so
because they can't, they feel like, oh, that they know that person's going to
it
give them conflict,
right.
but they're like, wait a minute, it's going to be a conflict they don't want, or they know they're not going to like that message, but they know someone like me. Oh, you know what? She's nice. I can say it to her because maybe she won't bite my head off. Maybe I
Mm,
should. But they, in their mind, they have, it's almost like the unconscious bias in their mind. You think about the people in the workplace who get away with just being rude, disrespectful.
right.
No one bothers them. And this is across the board
Obviously.
in any workplace. No one bothers the people who who are difficult to work with.
Hmm.
But the people who others feel like they can say something to, they do. But the people that they feel like they can't, or the people that they feel like won't be responsible or won't respond, they let them go. They just say that's how they are.
That's how
So
they are.
now how I feel is I'm just who I am. So the same way everyone else can say this is just who I am, I'm just who I am. So accept it, take it or leave
I
it.
think finding your way helps you find your voice too. And
It
not only
does.
helps you find it, it helps you be able to communicate that voice in a healthy way because it's
Right.
also not what you say, how you say it, and when. So being I dislike the professional word in our life language because I don't look at professional in that same manner. I think professional to me are healthy people, healthy,
Exactly.
emotional people who have learned how to become who they inspired to be and were created to be. Because
Exactly.
again, you can have unhealthy professional people. And I believe this is
Right.
why we're seeing so much in the world today as it relates to violence in the workforce and things like that
It's
because
sad.
we are not, and I'm not condoning this, but you guys, most of the people that are those people that need to be walked out are the last people to be walked out. Where you get people over here that try so hard, they try to be heard, they try to be nice, and it gets to a point where you simply just feel like nothing matters anymore and you don't matter. And so I'm here to tell you that you do. And the better and the quicker you can find your own way. I love that, Mary. I don't know why we keep going back to what you said, that you can find your own way
Right.
and know where you're coming from and where you're going and have that the directions and the plan. Boy, the less offended you are, the I want to say the less conflict, but you're going to have it, but
Right.
you will know how to respond to it and not react to it.
Oh, I
Respond,
like that.
medication thing.
Respond versus react.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
It is so this is good.
oh,
I so for anyone listening, now you see why this assessment is so helpful because it really has helped me to be
yes,
able to professionalize versus personalize. I still have my moments because I'm a feeler, but I do try to think about, did the person really mean this? And it's with regard to family, friends, workplace. Like, let me take a step back. And then if I need clarification, Tammy has helped me with this. I just asked for it. So, am I understanding you correctly when you say X? Is this what you mean?
yes,
I
yes,
just want to be clear because if this is what you mean, you are going to get a different response. If I
exactly.
feel like you are trying to be difficult, whereas if that's not your intent, we can have a different conversation.
Don't you find, are you finding that people are slowly starting to respect and value you more? And you can,
Yes, because they don't. Before, I don't think they were listening
hmm
because in their mind, oh, she's nice. I don't have to pay attention to her. Like I speak, but they weren't hearing me. And I was like, I shouldn't have to be brash or rude or disrespectful for you to listen just because I prefer to speak with diplomacy and tact. Like, I shouldn't have to raise my voice for you to listen because then that's a whole other conversation. If I'm raising my voice to get you to hear me, now you've turned away from the real issue. You're still not hearing me because now you focus on my response, not
hmm
the action that caused the response. So then, either way, I feel like I couldn't win for losing because I'm like, well, if I don't respond, that's a problem. If I do respond, that's a problem. So then
yes,
I'm like, I guess it doesn't really matter. So I can just say what I want to say, like everyone else does. And it'll be what it is.
I mean,
Because
what it
at the end of
is,
the day,
it's
I'm
what it
like,
is.
I can't win. I literally felt like I could not win. Where I'm like, and I think Trent mentioned that you literally feel like you just can't win because it's like you darned if you do, darned if you don't. And I'm like, it should not take me yelling at people or matching their energy for them to hear me. The same way they want me to respect their opinion, they should respect mine. But because I do respect other people's opinions and they know that, they feel comfortable dumping on me because they're like, oh, well, she's
Mm,
responsible, so I can do this to her. But I can't do this to that person who's rude or
right.
who I know is going to give me the same level of a response. So what I learned is I used to take stuff and take stuff and take stuff. I would let people do things to me and I would be like, okay, maybe they didn't mean that. Second time I'm like, all right now. And then they just keep pushing until I would get to a point where I would get so frustrated. Like now the response you're getting is from multiple times of
You're getting
um
a reaction,
taking
really.
stabs at me.
You're really
Right.
getting, by then people are getting a reaction from you,
Right.
not your healthy response,
Exactly.
because
Because at
it's
that point I'm
gone so
tired.
long. Right, right.
Exactly. So now I'm just trying to nip it in the butt, say it when it happens. Like, okay, let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Is this what you meant to do?
Mhm. And when you
Or
find
is
your
this what
own
you meant
way,
to
Maria,
say?
you give people, I love find your own way. And I know I've heard it 1,000 times, but when you find your own way, you give people permission to do the same.
Right.
You really do. The more free you are, that it's just going to exude. It's going to be in your presence. It's going to go before you.
Right.
Um, when you find your own way, you give people the power and the permission to do the same, because you no longer tolerate being on the wrong path and in the midst of the wrong people. And I hate to say wrong people, but the people that are not for you, because everybody's not for us and everything is not for
True.
us. But we're still the same kind of different, like that movie, the same kind of different as me. We are all as different as night and day, but we're the same. And we got to learn to do this life together. And
Yes.
so to do it together, you have to know how to do it alone. And that's another problem. We don't know how to be who we are. So, man,
Right.
I could do this seriously. Like, I know we stopped 30 minutes ago, but we've talked 30 more minutes. I can do this because I love, love, love the journey of self. I You guys have been doing this since 2014 now, I think. 14. The radio
I think
since 2000.
so.
The assessments, I think, since 2014.
Yeah, because it took
And
me a little while to take it. I feel like I took it a year after you had started,
really, I'm
or maybe
still
a few months. I can't remember.
I'm still unfolding. I'm still becoming. I'm still growing. I'm still learning about myself. I'm still seeing parts of my past, my bondage, my hurt just manifest because I had to get stuff out. I had to dig it
Right,
up. I had to let it be. I had to own it and release it. I had to forgive. I had to learn to, because you don't forget. So you forgive and you deal, like you deal with it, but you don't let it become who you are. You don't let it direct where you're going. It does not become the path for your life. And
right,
so we don't stop growing. I'm telling you, please, please, please don't ever take for granted that because I'm sitting on this side, because I say that I'm a life coach, that I don't have to do life. Please don't ever think that, because I do. And I
yeah,
have to learn to keep my mouth closed sometimes. I have to make sure that I'm thinking, how do I say this to get the best results, to get the best understanding? I'm
right.
getting better, but I have to be intentional about it. I have to be aware. I have to be conscious of it. And so just join us if you'd like to. Mary, we won't get into this, but Mary and I are working on something that's a God thing. Is not a Tammy thing for sure, although it is a God thing. And so stick with us, stick by us, like Tamaria's page, listen to her podcast. Not sure exactly how we will do this, but y'all, my vision for this, I thought about this morning. My vision is so big for this. God, the vision that God is sending, until it's gonna be so godly and so timely and so neat
Amen.
and so touching for where we are today in this world. So stay close to us because we need you. We need you. We need you. Ladies, we need you. Stay close, stay connected to us. Something, but stay
Yes.
close because we're going to need you, ladies. We're going to need you.
And definitely connect with Tammy as well. She's doing some great things. So, as you can see, if you have not taken the assessment, definitely do so. And your coaching session, I promise you, will be well worth it.
And oh, Tamari, and we're gonna go for real. For those who the first help me here, God. Okay. The first two people that take the assessment after today, the coaching session will be free. And I won't, I always do a 30-minute get to know the assessment. It doesn't go deep. It just kind of helps you understand it so that you can study on your own if you don't want the coaching. That's 30 minutes. I always do that. But the actual coaching itself can take hours and weeks, depending on where you want to go. So, and how quickly you want to work to get there or travel, how fast you want to drive, I guess.
Right.
So first two people, and we'll keep, today is the 25th. So the first two people that take it, will reach out for that one-on-one life coaching session, but you do have to pay to take the assessment. And we didn't say that. So it's not free. You have to learn to invest in yourself.
So true.
And it is worth it. Think of it as the red bottom shoes, just think of it
Yes.
as an investment in
Of
yourself.
communication.
About a red bottom spirit,
That's
So
true. And I
yeah,
took it
so
twice.
yes.
So
So find your own way, great people. Find your own way. Tamaria, love, love, love you. Thank you for
love
inspiring
you
me.
too.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
being you and accepting me as your husband's sister and becoming my sister. So thank you.
Oh,
Any
well,
final
thank you
words?
as well. Love you all and your family. And this was great. I really enjoyed it. And I hope that that individuals who come back and listen now or later, that they get something powerful from this discussion.
All right, all right. I'm gonna make sure. the comment, I oftentimes have been called too nice. So Michelle Brock says, I oftentimes have been called too nice. And you guys, that's just sad. Like that. So think about that. The next time you think somebody's too nice, or, sometimes you can be in a grocery store and you speak to someone. I did this because I just like to talk and meet people and have that conversation if possible. And there'll be times people look at like, what's your agenda? What you want? Why are you speaking? And it's sad that we've come to that. But thank you for that, Michelle. And just again, like I said, don't let the world take away your gift, because we need nice people. But those who say people are too nice, what does that mean? And please think before, because you're trying to take someone's gift away. We need them
Exactly.
all. We're all one body with branches, as Tamaria said, and we're all the same kind of different. So don't throw shade on people and who they are. Love, or how they are. Love them where they are. So thank you, Michelle, for that. Go
Yes,
take
yes.
the
And thanks
assessment,
for
Michelle,
tuning in. Exactly. Yes.
and get the
I
free
know
yeah,
you'll
get
love
the free coaching. So yeah.
it.
So thank you again, Tamaria. Okay, thank you. We will end here. Blessings, everyone. Thank you for spending Sunday afternoon with us. We'll be on Tuesday, Butterfly Evolution Radio Show, with the title or the conversation, Insecure Men. We'll be discussing that. So I'm not saying, or we're not saying men are insecure, because I feel we're all insecure at some point in time in our life. But we're going to discuss that, um, that we're going to have that conversation. So join us Tuesday, Facebook Live, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Tamari, when's the next time you're going to be on, or your show's coming out?
Actually, great question. A new show will air tomorrow. So
Tomorrow.
I
Okay.
actually will have it set up to go live at midnight. I finished editing the show today with recording artist Armani. He is also a licensed independent social worker, clinical social worker, as well as a musical artist. So really good interview, which will be released at midnight
Okay. Tonight.
on all major podcast platforms. Yes,
Okay.
tonight.
Okay. And if you guys, if you have a story, if you have a conversation that you want to talk about, if you're an author, whatever it is, you could be another life coach. I'll sit and talk to you, because I'll learn something from you. I'll utilize that time. Whatever
Exactly.
your story is, whatever you're passionate about, if you want to have a conversation, please reach out to myself. Please reach out to Mary for her podcast as well, and we'll set up a time to get you on.
Yes.
So we didn't say that. So if you'd like to be a guest on either one of our shows, or both, because I'm going to go get some of the people that Tamara has talked to. I'm going to get some
Oh,
of them
yes,
and bring
please
them
do.
over to the Butterfly Evolution Radio Show. So reach out to us for anything that we can assist you with. Let's just put it like that. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Great night, Tamaria. Great conversation. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Good night.